Hello everyone and welcome to week 4 of SPAG. We'll be looking at the Jungle Home Learning Pack. So let's get straight into it. This exercise says write out the sentences in your best handwriting and add the correct punctuation. Now, like always, we need to think about our golden rule. And there's 3 things that come under the golden rule. It's having capital letters at the beginning of your sentence, using finger spaces in between your words, and including punctuation at the end of your sentence. That could be a full stop, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. So let's have a look at our first sentence. The big grey elephant lives in Africa. So I need to add my capital letter, like always, and then I need to think about what kind of sentence this is. Is it a sentence that just gives information? Is it an excited sentence that needs an exclamation mark? Or is it a question? The big grey elephant lives in Africa. I would say this is just a plain sentence that's telling me some information. When I'm writing it out, I also need to remember to add my finger spaces. Good. Now, we also have 2 capital letters in our sentence. Now I need to think about whether these capital letters should be there. The big grey elephant lives in Africa. Elephant does not need a capital letter because this is not a name. But Africa does need a capital letter because it is the name of a continent. So I'm going to cross out my E and replace it. There you go. And the capital A in Africa, I'll leave as it is. Our second sentence says monkeys like to swing from tall, thin branches. Now, again, I need to add my capital letter and I need to add punctuation at the end. Monkeys like to swing from tall, thin branches. This seems like a sentence that's just giving me some information, so all I need is a full stop at the end. Now, there's also a capital letter in the middle of my sentence for the word swing. Is the word swing a name? No, it's not, so I'm going to cross that out and I just need to replace it with a lowercase s, a small s. Lovely. There's also a piece of punctuation here. Does anyone remember what this punctuation is called? This is called an apostrophe, and we only use apostrophes for 2 different reasons. We can use apostrophes for possession, or we can use apostrophes for omission. Now, for possession, we use it when something belongs to the monkey. Now, in this sentence, does anything belong to the monkey? No, so we don't need one for possession. Now, have we combined 2 different words into one? Like the words do not into don't, for example? No, we have not done that. So we do not need this apostrophe. We're going to cross it out, just like that. There's also one more thing missing from our sentence. Can anyone spot it? We have 2 adjectives next to each other. Now, adjectives are words that describe. So, monkeys like to swing from tall, thin branches. Tall and thin are 2 adjectives. And when we have 2 adjectives next to each other, we need to make sure that we add a comma. Just like that. Well done. Let's have a look at our last sentence. The long snake slid through the thick green forest. We need to add our capital letter at the beginning, and we need to look at what punctuation goes at the end. Now, this seems just like a sentence that gives me information, so again, I'm only adding a full stop. Now, there's also 2 adjectives again. Here they are. And what do we add when we have 2 or more adjectives next to each other? We add a comma, just like that. Anything else missing? Let's read through it just to check. The long snake slid through the thick green forest. Good. Now, as you can see, I've written out my sentences in my best handwriting using a sharp pencil so it looks nice and neat. I've made sure to use my ascenders, my descenders, cursive handwriting, and finger spaces. If you have done this, make sure you take lots of photos to send to your class teacher so they can have a look at all your best handwriting. Second exercise. Now for this exercise, I've hidden the question just for now because I want us to focus on some words. The words are because, and, but, and so. Now these words have a special name. Can you remember what these words are called and why do we use these words in a sentence? I'll give you 10 seconds to have a think about it. Okay, do you remember? Now these words are called conjunctions, and conjunctions are words that connect two sentences together. The sentence says, can you complete the sentences with the appropriate conjunctions? So we need to use these conjunctions that we have already identified. The words because, the word and, the word but, and the word so. And we need to find out what the rest of the sentence could be. Now we have already done these types of exercises before, so you should know that there are lots of different ways we could end our sentences. These are just examples, but you could include your own creative endings. My first sentence says there are now less tigers because people are hunting them down. The second sentence says the orangutan followed his mother and together they found some food to eat. The third sentence says it is illegal to hunt tigers, but some hunters are breaking the law. And the last sentence says Miss Conway saw a tiger, so she ran to tell the whole class. Question 3. Can you complete the sentences by adding commas and apostrophes where needed? Now there are two reasons why you might need to use an apostrophe. Have a quick think about what these two reasons could be. Okay, so the first reason we might need to use an apostrophe is for possession. The second reason is for omission. Apostrophes for possession are used when something belongs to someone or something. For example, a toy dinosaur might belong to a group of children, so we would say the children's toy dinosaur, and add an apostrophe here before the S. Apostrophes for omission are used to join two words together. For example, the words do not could come together. But we wouldn't say do not. We would miss out the O and replace it with an apostrophe to say don't, just like this. Now let's try to add commas and apostrophes for possession or for omission where needed. The tiger's teeth were sharp, long, and scary. The teeth in this sentence belong to the tiger, so we need an apostrophe for possession here to show that they belong to the tiger. The tiger's teeth were sharp, long, and scary. We have 3 adjectives here and 2 right next to each other, so we need a comma in the middle. Good. Second sentence. I can't see the orangutan, moaned the small, crying girl. Can't has been joined by 2 words, can, not. So it needs an apostrophe for omission. I can't see the orangutan, moaned the small, crying girl. Small, crying are 2 adjectives as well, so we need another comma. The next sentence says, there was a huge, angry tiger in Jack's house. Now here again we have 2 adjectives, huge and angry, right next to each other. So what do we need? A comma. Good. There was a huge angry tiger in Jack's house. For this sentence, the house belongs to Jack. So we need an apostrophe for possession right here. Now there's also one other piece of punctuation in this sentence that I have forgotten to add. It's not a comma and it's not an apostrophe. Can you spot it? We need a capital J here because this is the name of Jack. The last sentence in this exercise says, Mrs. Jackson's friend tried to warn her about the fierce tiger, but she couldn't. In this sentence, the friend is Mrs. Jackson's, so we need an apostrophe here to show possession. Mrs. Jackson's friend tried to warn her about the fierce tiger, but she couldn't. We also have another apostrophe that is needed here. This one is for omission because we've joined two words together. Can you guess what they are? For this word, we joined the words could and not. Could not. Couldn't. The last part of our session is spellings. To practice your spellings, I would like you to use the look, say, cover, write, and check method. So look at your word, say it out loud to make sure it sounds right, cover it up, and try to write it out. After you've done that, check to see if you got it right. Try to do this with all 10 of your spelling words, and then there are 3 extra tricky words at the end that you can try to do if you're feeling quite confident. Also, as an extension, use a dictionary to find the definition or meaning of each word. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and I'll see you next time.